Hello, dear friends. First of all, I would like to congratulate everybody with the Chinese New Year. Run, Chinese rabbit, run. And I would like to give you some material from the Davos Forum. And you can read the same text in Russian, but here is my English version. First of all, I would like to remind you that everybody spoke on the death of globalization in the materials of the forum. And here is some text that confirm the topic and the necessity to think over it. Please try to understand what I'm talking about. Here is my friend Alex, and he will tell you everything about it.
On the death of globalization in the materials of the Forum in Davos 2023, Part 1. The three topics of the Forum are nature. Vladimir Luukov, PhD, an acting member of the Russian Federation Academy of
Sorry, there is some technical moment. Let me see.
On the death of globalization in the materials of the Forum in Davos 2023, Part 1. The three topics of the Forum are nature, health, and war. Everything needs investments and their payback through trade. On January 19th, the results of 25 sessions on the topic of investments and trade were summed up. How are things going to play out? Before the forum, the World Bank proposed to discuss de-globalization due to growing fragmentation. But CEOs in 25 sessions on the topic proposed re-globalization so that in a fit of de-globalization, don't throw out the baby with the bathwater, meaning the long-established connections. And I accidentally found on the battlefields between US military cyber analysts a new slogan, never trust, but always verify. Of course, there is nobody to check up huge databases manually at the age of the or re-globalization. Even Putin, who has long been aptly credited with the role of savior or destroyer of the planet Earth with his nuclear rocket fantasies. In the Global Cybersecurity Outlook report for 2023 for the participants of the Forum in Davos, January 16-20, 2023, the main idea was about the transfer of cyber threats from global to less secure local business. Such changes in the actions of hackers lead to de-globalization of business, or hiding into the holes in safe harbors of de-globalization. This topic has been discussed in the second part. Surveys of cyber analysts have documented a growing gap in the views of traditional businesses, e.g., petroperties, and cyber leaders of IT industries on numerous forms and methods of cyber risk threat management. For example, 91% of all respondents expect a catastrophic cyber event, black swans by numbers, in the next 2 years. But at the same time, only 43% of the heads of global organizations are ready to prevent cyber attacks in the next 2 years. So far, businesses spend more resources on day-to-day self-defense than on strategic investments to prevent cyber threats, even in the nearest future within 2 years. The growing de-globalization, as it is put in the World Bank report, is influenced by the exacerbated problem of computer data protection and the damage to cybersecurity due to the emerging geopolitical fragmentation. It is the multipolarity in business during digitalization that decisively nullifies the security paradigms with their humanistic disputes and plans of the old and stupid superpowers. Profits from the digitalization of business affect the way of making money or how enterprises work, and not into which countries those investments of superpowers or their zones of influence go. TNC CEOs recognize that their organization's cybersecurity risk depends on the quality of security across the supply chain of commercial partners and customers. Leaders or TNC bosses also oversee third parties having access to their digital environment and or data storage to reevaluate with field monitoring by experts from below rather than bureaucratic reports from above. The efficiency of investments, not which countries they are setting up business in. At the same time, the surveyed big business leaders are still for internal, sovereign decisions in the development of measures to prevent cyber risks. Although such a clear distrust of some partners is compensated by partnerships with other organizations, the latter include those organizations that are implementing large digital transformation projects. At the same time, it is known that the addition of new technologies to obsolete IT increases the complexity of digital environments for monitoring and, consequently, increases the risk for their cybersecurity from hackers, as discussed in Part 2. Digital transformation addresses the complexities of how to balance the value of new technologies with the potentially increased cyber risk in their organizations. Cyber executives are now more likely to consider data privacy laws and cybersecurity regulations. This is recognized as an effective tool for reducing cyber risks in a sector already deglobalized. Such a noticeable shift in the perception of globalization against the backdrop of the worldwide digitalization is clearly visible when comparing this report for 2023 with the Outlook Report 2022. Despite the challenges associated with complying with previous regulatory requirements, cyber leaders have recognized that the new regulation is driving much needed action while reducing cybersecurity and making sovereign businesses undergoing deglobalization. Structured interactions between cyber and business leaders are becoming increasingly frequent, with 56% of security executives now meeting monthly or more frequently with their board of directors. This is rapidly closing the gap in perception of cybersecurity. However, as the authors of Outlook 2023 note, more needs to be done to promote mutual understanding between business and security teams to support effective action by organizational leaders. It's about cybersecurity culture. Building a security-centered culture for any business with without IT tools requires a common language. Like a simple barn book, it should be based on metrics that easily translate cybersecurity information into dimensions that are understandable and important, both for board members, CEO, and business people as a whole. To this end, changes are needed in the organizational structure that introduce discussions about cyber risks in business. From this start, we can count on success in creating more flexible communication and effective cyber risk management. Ultimately, cyber leaders must present security issues in terms that are understood at the board of directors level for action, not only good wishes in forms of recommendations. Business leaders, for their part, must take greater responsibility for operational cyber requirements to advance their organization's overall cyber capabilities. One of the areas of mutual understanding between cyber leaders and business leaders is the recruitment and retention of cyber talent. For strategic planning, this is a key challenge when creating and managing the business's cyber resilience to hacker attacks. To attract cyber professionals, it is important to organize a wide variety of competitions when conducting visual advertising campaigns. In addition, it is necessary to expand the range of cultural, household, and other skills needed today by anti-hackers, and with the expansion of benefits to lure hackers into hiring pools for IT industries on legal terms. A number of innovations have already been implemented, but they tend to be noticeable in narrow sectors of the IT industries. Time, reflection, and investment are urgently needed to make new cyber skills development programs larger. This is the only way to defeat the dark internet internationals of hackers. About this, see Part 2. Vladimir Lu.
Well, you have heard this text translated into English. And I would like to continue this program. Very soon you'll hear the second part of this material please, well, don't go away too far. Now, the end of this transmission.